Okay, good day, grade 10s. We are going to continue with the work. I've tried to do this a number of times, so let's try again. Okay, right. I've sent you this presentation last week already, but I've tried to do the Zoom a number of times and not succeeded in doing it properly. So let's try. Hopefully this time we're going to get it right. Okay. We've looked at salary scales, we've looked at where it comes from, we've looked at the salaries and wages journal, but we've not looked at the ledgers and or the payment of the different ones. So that's what this presentation is about. So particularly if you've got a problem with ledgers, please take note of this one. Okay. Right. Payments for salaries and wages occur in the CPJ. When we pay my wages and or salaries, we actually don't do it the way that we've done it up until now. You actually pay the creditors for salaries, which is the difference between your gross salary or wage and your deduction. So the difference is what's being paid out. So you get the money after deductions were done, whether it is a salary or a wage. Deductions and or contributions to other organizations must be paid by the 14th of the next month. So particularly your UIF and your SDL, etc., etc. So the example that I had over here is, say for instance, I have a person that earns a wage for 4 weeks, and he gets 16 Rand a week, okay, and the UIF is 16 Rand per week for the employee, and then the employer is also going to pay 16 Rand, so 16 times 4 weeks times employee employer means I've got 128 Rand. Then in the salaries journal, the employer contributed 158 Rand and the employee contributed 158 Rand. So in total, the organization must pay over on behalf of the employees and himself 444 Rand over to the Department of Labor. Okay, right. So each salary, wage, deduction, etc., will be done in a specific manner, and a specific method is used to calculate it. And salary scales is but one example that organizations can use. So please go and make sure you understand that. Remember, you can get the teacher's guide on Saplify and download that for yourself and go and mark those activities. Please do that though, okay? So that you can do more activities than the ones that I give you, because I'm only going to give you the memos for the ones that I'm giving you. Unlike in class where I give you the answer book, so you don't need to be frustrated waiting for me to wake up one day. Right. So if I'm going to do, say, medical aid, and 20% of my gross salary of 30,000 must be paid to medical aid, I'm going to say my 20% of 30,000 is 6,000. If contribution is twice 2 Rand for every 1 Rand contributed by the employee, I'm going to say 6,000 times my 20% times 2. Okay, that means in totality, medical aid should be paid 18,000 Rand. So there's hundreds of different scenarios, different ways of calculating it. And the more calculations you do, the more you'll be able to understand them, and the easier you'll be able to do them in a test or exam on speed. Okay, so the speed is always the crux. Okay, right. So here I've got an example. Here is my 16 Rand for the UIF and the 16 Rand for the contribution, and the 185 Rand and the 185 Rand. Okay. So note, there is gross salary. That's the amount that we've always been using until now. But what should actually be paid? The net salary. So you need to differentiate between gross salary, net salary, gross wage, net wage, and cost to company. So cost to company over here for Mr. Mbata will be the 15,800 and that 158 rand. Okay, for the salaries journal. For the wages journal for Mr. Small would be the 2,080 rand plus the 16 rand over there. Okay, right. Note this, please don't forget it. Okay, right. If now we're now going to look at the ledgers themselves. So if I want to pay my creditors for salaries, I first need to create the creditors for salaries. So on the debit side, in my salaries, I'm going to have my gross salary with that figure, but the difference, that 7,842 rand from creditors to salaries that we looked at in the previous graph, that one, okay, we are going to have here. So that we're going to take down and we're going to close this off to my bank account. So step 1, create the liability. Step 2, pay the liability. This can happen on the same day, but before the 15th of the 14th day of the next month. Okay. So salaries, I said to you, here we've got the total salary. Remember, this is my gross salary, not cost to company. So note that salaries is not paid here. So there's nothing on this side. Okay. This is only created so that we can have the liability. All right. This salary will be closed off to my nominal account section 5. Final accounts is profit and loss, which we're still going to do with you grade 10s. Here, I've got my step 1, my creation of my liability for my start. So my 7,800, and it's closed off by paying it in the CPJ 7,800. So this liability was created and then paid. So the liability after now doesn't exist. UIF. Here is the example that I've already discussed with you. So this 128 Rand is a balance brought down from all the wages journals combined. So it's all 8 entries for the employer and the employee both combined. Okay. So it was at 16 Rand times 2 times the 4 weeks. Okay. Then I've got the salaries journals entry for the employee, and then the contribution part for the employer. That added together gives me my 444, which is then closed off. And what? How much do I pay UIF? 444 Rand. Okay, right. So in my CPJ here, underneath my name of payee, underneath details, I will have the person that's going to be paid. These days, it's done by EFT, right? But in the old days, obviously, you would have used checks. You'll see that your things are still happening with checks, but okay, right? I mean, really, you don't want to use paper, right? Anyway, it continues. But creditors for salaries over here. This is the account that we just closed with this entry. My start PAYE. Note start is the person that I'm paying. This is my who and my what. My account name is start PAYE. I've got Department of Labor on this side, and I've got my UIF. You'll see some of the textbooks also refer to start. This is incorrect. Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it.